his choice. His choice is not an MOU. There's no third choice here. Either he accepts Iran's position as the rising hegemonic power with all of that means, and I'm showing you all of what that means, including nuclear weapons. He's going to have to accept that.
Iran having nuclear weapons.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he can't stop that. What could it's up to Iran. Now, I'm not telling you Iran will surely develop nuclear weapons, Mario. But there's no power by the United States to compel Iran not to go nuclear except one power: ground forces. Go get it. You've got, and Netanyahu's was quite right on 60 Minutes at the end of May. There's only one way you're going to get that enriched material out. Someone's going to have to physically haul it out. And if Iran's not going to accept that and concede to that, then you got to go in and physically do it. So what I'm telling you, Mario, is we have no leverage over Iran here. Iran will decide on, has the full capability now to develop nuclear weapons. It's only a matter of, is it over a few months? Is it over like 6 weeks? We can debate the exact parameters of its capability limit. But its capability limit is trivial. It is, the real issue is its political will. Will it decide to build nuclear weapons? And what's happened as a result of this war is we have fully persuaded Iran that air power and naval power can't do anything to really hurt its development of nuclear weapons. Not really. We can claim it does. We can brag about what happened and that we obliterated something when we bombed Fordo. But the truth is we didn't obliterate the core capability that truly matters. And so that means that this is a real capability. And by the way, you're seeing now, I've been arguing this for months and months, and now you're seeing the more mainstream think tanks in Washington, say this and say from the Carnegie, in quoted in the New York Times. So you're getting now kind of what I would call the mainstream think tank crowd in Washington to say essentially the same thing, which is, and by the way, it's a similar date. I said in about a year, this is what I said in April when I published that piece in the New York Times on Iran's rise as the fourth center of world power. It'd be about a year or two before Iran would have nuclear weapons. And now people are saying, yeah, it's going to be about a year here. And so we can get into the details of this, Mario, but there's a lot here for Trump to swallow. And if he doesn't swallow it, there's only one way he's going to be able to stop it. He's going to have to escalate the use of force. And that might not even stop it. I'm not telling you he's got a surefire military strategy. In fact, the opposite. I think Iran is on its way to becoming the fourth center of world power, with or without war by the United States. And I think it's going to be extremely difficult to knock Iran off of that trajectory. This war should never have been started, Mario.
Oh man, yeah, Trump
saying that, but this is why for 20 years this was the big one. I modeled a lot of other conflicts, Gaza, Ukraine. This was always the big one, Mario, because Iran was the toughest challenge rival for America since Germany in World War II.
Every president knew you do not attack Iran. You could conduct asymmetric warfare. You can attack their axis of resistance. You could conduct economic warfare, but you don't get into a full-blown war with Iran. Otherwise, the Gulf will blow up. Otherwise, the global economy would take a hit. Otherwise, the Strait of Hormuz will be closed. That was common knowledge for decades, not even years. Yet here we are.
Who does the world blame for Iran's rising power? America. So Iran played its hand very well here by biding its time, and it only seized Hormuz in response to a massive, massive American aggression. And actually, it was two aggressions. It was both the bombing of Fordo and then later the attacks on the Supreme Leader and the and that campaign. So when you saw those double aggressions here, this then made it politically to Iran's advantage, because it could then seize Hormuz, gain power we could not reverse. And who would get blamed? America would get blamed. And that's one of the most difficult things that the White House, the Trump White House, has really not come to grips with. Secretary Rubio he can go and complain about this, but we're doing nothing to offset and recognize that the world is blaming America for what's happened. And the way things are going, this will probably be true through January as well. I don't see many off-ramps here to starting to seriously blame Iran here, because Iran keeps saying all we want are the reparations. Iran is playing not just the hegemonic power card, but it is actually the victim. It's truly the victim. Exactly. It doesn't have to make it up.
Is it possible that we're seeing all these demands by Iran? Because I know throughout this war, what Iran says is what they mean. They've been very clear. We want this, and they stick by their demands. But is it possible the strategy shifted a bit, where their demands have increased publicly, but behind the scenes, they may agree on more concessions? They may agree on something that would allow Trump an off-ramp. And if you ask why, it's because also Iran is going through a very tough time. Their economy is in shambles. Their currency collapsed by about 50%. Trump posted about it yesterday.
This was a hope in April, Mario, that they wanted economic relief. And what did America do when there was a chance for an off-ramp on that ceasefire, April 8th? 4 days later, they had one little meeting with J.D. Vance, and then on April 12th, they imposed the blockade. So the whole problem with the idea that of giving Iran economic relief is America can just take it right back. And we've done that again and again. So this is not a case where hypothetically America could take it back. This has happened again and again. And that's why when Arachi was at the Supreme Leader's funeral, there are people calling for Arachi's death. Iranians calling for Arachi's death. It's because of this issue. There is America. It's not even just an issue of trust. What would enforce the deal if America welches on the deal? Who's going to enforce that except Iran? Only Iran, and that means Iran has to have the power to enforce it. There's no court. Who's gonna actually force America to stick by whatever deal it signed? When Donald Trump ripped up the JCPOA, Europeans didn't do anything. They just squawked. They put out a few tweets and said, "Oh, that's bad America." Where was the actual defense of Iran here? Didn't exist.
Yeah. There's a lot of people worried about how this war could merge into a bigger global conflict. Obviously, pointing to Ukraine, we saw the Ukrainians fired the Iranian ship. The Iranians were, according to reports, about to retaliate. Some rumors or theories that the Ukrainians are, as well as some neocons in the US, are intentionally trying to merge these two conflicts. And obviously, there's a lot of discussions of what could happen at the South China Sea and China. Is that a worry that you have, that this could expand, this could escalate into an escalation trap that leads into a global conflict? Because there's always the example, World War I was never meant to be World War I.
So Mario, I just did a huge post on the Professor Pape Substack last week on this very issue. With the couple minutes left, we can't really address it. So I don't want to just do if people want to go check Professor Pape out, I'm explaining what's the difference between World War II and today. What would it take to make this World War II, that kind of thing. And if you want to talk about that next time, I'm glad to do it. But what I'd like to do, Mario, and again, I'm sorry if I'm not being as cooperative as I should be, but notice I really want to try to give fuller answers to these issues. And that's what I am experiencing on social media. I'm experiencing that what people are coming to me for are thicker, answers. They may not agree with me, but they see more of the reasons underneath it. And then if they disagree, they can change the reasons and they come to a different view. And so that's what I'd like to do. And believe me, I'm all, I have lots and lots of thoughts that are, at the quick thought level. But I think really I see people so hungry for substance, Mario. It's incredible. I mean, my emails, I mean, my goodness gracious. I mean, they're just, they explode. I can't even, read 1% of the emails. And they're asking
Professor,
substantive questions over and over again.